Hey, buddy.
It's just us.
It's a date. How was your oh, did you realize what yesterday was numerically? Oh, sorry. Can you hear me now? No? Can you hear me?
Yeah, now I hear you. Yeah. What's going on?
Kelsey told me yesterday was 12, 31, 23, which means it was 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3 numerically.
Oh, right. Yeah. Someone said that there was a good day to get married or something. But I'm already married, so.
Or a good day to get divorced.
But only if you have a good lawyer.
You look about as cold as I am in the house.
I'm wearing a sweater. I don't know.
It's freezing.
But if I put the heat on, I get nauseous.
I got the heat on 73 degrees. It doesn't matter.
Oh. Yeah, when I put the heat on, it's okay for a minute, and then I get like want to throw up. You watch football today?
What?
Did you watch any football? 5 games were on today.
I spoke to my father. He was involved in Alabama versus Michigan.
That's right now. Yeah, we went into overtime.
No, Cassie and I played tennis this morning. That was about it.
Where?
Poinsettia Park on Fountain. The courts are nice. Not bad.
It's open? It's open?
Yeah, it was free today, actually.
Yeah, how do you reserve a court there?
You go on tenniscity.com and reserve there. TNNACITY. And it's there, West Hollywood and Las Cienega. All the same.
Oh, that's good to know. Okay.
You just reserve.
Okay.
You can reserve pickleball, tennis, whatever you want.
Oh, okay. That's exciting. Good to know.
Yeah.
Where's everybody?
I don't know. They said 5:30, so I'm here.
Yeah.
What are you doing with the kid? Are you going with the kids anywhere winter break?
Yeah.
Where are you going?
We are going to go. Well, Chaim's supposed to have a baby.
Mazel tov. I mean,
or Chaim's due the 28th, but we plan on going to the desert, so we'll see.
Okay.
We'll see. Everything's up in the air.
Yeah, always is. There we go.
Oh, okay, we're on.
Rabbi Doctor.
Hello. Happy New Year.
Where are you?
Happy New Year. Just a trifecta of us today.
Okay.
We're 59, correct?
59. Achla Smadar.
Is anybody recording this?
Yeah, I'll record it. Yeah, it says recording. It says recording.
It says recording,
okay.
Yeah. Achla Smadar. The animal went into the field and ate grapes right at the beginning, right after they budded, so very early on in the life cycle of the grape. Rabbi Shlomo Roino soy, it doesn't make a difference. When we assess the damage value, we calculate it as if they were grapes ready to be harvested. Chachamim no. Royin kama haisa yofe. We look, like we said before, we look at the whole field, how much it would be sold at this point when it's early on. And v'kama hiyafa after the damage, and the difference he'd have to pay. We don't do the valuation for the specific fruit. Rav Shimon ben Yehuda Omer, Yishum Rav Shimon b'Medvar Mamurim. When do we assess the value of the field as a whole? Bizman she'achla lulve gefanim, very young grapes, or yichuri te'enim, or young figs. Ava achla pagim. If you ate figs that had not ripened at all, or boiser, the same thing for grapes. Roina son ki'ilo anavim andas libotzer. You look at the fruit as if they were ready to be harvested. Ktani mias comes out from what we're saying we quoted the Chachamim Oimrim, Roy Noison Kama Yofe, V'Kama Yofe. V'Lo Ktani B'Shishim. What happened yesterday? We looked at this thing 60 times. How come that wasn't invoked? That B'Shishim, that another way of addressing it is 60. Achadami B'Shishim, yes. When we say Roy and Kama Yofet, the damage would be use this mechanism of 60 like we learned yesterday. Amar Abaye. Rabbi Yossi Aglili, Rabbi Shmuel Anu Davar Echad. They said the same thing regarding how do we come up with an estimation of the damages. We look at the value of the fruits in the field that have not been eaten and how much they'd be worth after they become ripe. Rabbi Yossi Aglili Hadamar. We already said that. Rabbi Shmuel D'Tanya. Meitav Sadeyu. Umeitav Karmo Yishalat. He pays from the best of his field of vineyard. Meitav Sader Shel Nizik. Umeitav Karmo Shel Nizik Div Rabbi Shmuel. We look at the fields of the guy who did the damage. He pays from his best field. Rabbi Kiva Lo Ba Kotzav Al Gavos Nizikim in Aidis. That if a guy who did damage has 3 quality fields, it is Beinanis and Ziburis. A mazik pays from Idis. The Kavachomer Hegdish. And certainly you pay that to Hegdish if you damage Hegdish's property. The Lotema, don't learn Rabbi Shmuel the way Ravidi Baravin learned him. From Ravidi Baravin, Tigon Sha'achla Aruga Ben Arugos. We're talking about if an animal ate a row in a field, V'lo Yadina, and we just don't know, Ikhushahavi Ishmenavi. Did he eat a good row or a bad row? The Omar, Kim Shalom Shmenav Meitav Dikashta. The Torah says, pay from your best. We don't say that the row that was damaged was a weak row. Da'achi lo amrina my taima. Hamotz v'chaver alav araya. Is it because the one who did the
Well,
damage?
it's really 2 different things. We're saying you have to pay meitiv your field. You have to pay if you don't have cash, giving up good land. But that doesn't say anything about the actual damage. And the damage should be different because of Aruga good, Aruga bad, but we just said you basically take an average of what a big parcel of land is, you know?
If a person wants to be paid for a claim that the row that was eaten was a very high quality row, so he's trying to get money from the mazik to pay him. In general, we have a rule. So why wouldn't the nizik have to bring proof that the row that was eaten by the animal was a good row? So rather, we tight Rabbi Shmuel when he said the mate of Sadeu of the nizik, of the one who did the damage, the mate of the Lakameh, we have to look at what we have in front of us. The solid. We look around and see what else is growing now. That which is left. Based on that, Rabbi Shmuel assessed the damage. Amrama. Rabbi Shimon ben Yehuda, Omer Mishum Rabbi Shimon. Lamed v'Ramurim, that we look at the value of the whole field, how much it was worth before, how much it's worth now. We said Sha'ach l'luvei kfanim v'yituriteni. He ate very unripe fruit. Ha smodar, which is a little further on, we value the grapes as if they were ready to be harvested. Okay, that's the ratio. Ema Sefer. Achla pagimo boiser. It's a little later in the ripening process. Roina sokilu anavim oindas lebotzer. High smodar, we're back. Roina sokame yafa v'kame yafa. So there's a stira between the diyukim, between the Reish and the Sefer. Amar Ravina, Kroch v'Tani. You have to learn them together. Bamedvar Mamurim, that you assess the value of the field at the time of the damage. That's bisman sha'ach lalul ve'gefanim b'ichuri te'enim. You ate very early fruits. Aval achla smader pagim oboiser, roino so ki'ilu anavim andes libotzer. The din of smadar is the same din as pagim and boiser.
So you would get more
You get more.
money if the cow ate smadar and onward.
Exactly.
But
Exactly.
and what happened to this? Take an average of the shishim, acreage and yada yada.
So you would get less. So that's why there's a big nafkamina between these mechanisms of calculating the damage.
Mhm.
So, but comes out now, we're saying, Iachi, Rab Shimon ben Yehuda, Hainu Rab Yeshua. It's the same shita. There's no difference. Ikibinayu, chash gufna. There is a difference. The grapevine itself becomes weaker when you have fruits growing on it. Now that the animal has eaten some of the fruits off the branches, so the branches don't weaken as much. So according to one shita, you take in that depreciation. You actually deduct from the value of what has to be paid the fact that the grapevine itself has been improved by the fact that some fruits have been eaten from it. And according to the other shita, we're not machshav that. V'lo mesaimi, and it looks like Rabbi Yeshua and Rabbi Shimon are arguing about that. We don't know which one is which opinion, but Abaya Omar, mesaimi. No, we do know who it is, and we have an ability to say which sheet is who. How? Mantana, the chayish l'chash kufna. Who is the Tana that we see in another place who is worried about the value of the geffen itself? It's Rav Shimon ben Yehuda, the Tanya. Rav Shimon ben Yehuda Omer. Yishum Rav Shimon ben Asya. Oines, Einem Eshalim, Esat Sar. If you rape a basula, the rapist does not pay tsar. Even if she was married and had a husband, she'd have the same discomfort through intercourse. So we don't have to calculate tsar when we calculate how much a rapist has to pay. The Chachamim don't agree. The discomfort of a woman who goes along with intercourse willingly is different than the discomfort of a woman who's raped against her will. There's great pain with that. Comes out that we see Rav Shimon ben Yehuda deducts from what has to be paid depreciation relating to other issues. It's going to be the same svar regarding the decrease in value of the vine itself. Amar Bayani Tanoi, the following Tanoi we're going to mention, Rav Shimon ben Yehuda, Amar Davarecha. They said the same halacha. Rav Shimon ben Elazar Hadamar. We talked about the decrease in the value of the geffen. Hani Tanoi Mai. Who were the other Tanoi? The Tanya. When a person hits a pregnant woman and causes her to have a miscarriage, that you have to pay to the husband the Dmei Vlados. Rabbi Yossi Oimer, Nechi Chaya. You get to reduce the payment by the amount that it takes to hire a midwife. Now that she has miscarried, the Baal doesn't have to buy a midwife. So that can be deducted. A husband would have to pay more money to feed his pregnant wife. Now there's less because the Vladis have come out. Mandar Menachi Demechaya, the one who says you can deduct the value of the midwife. So Kol Shekain Nechi Mezonos. You can. It's certainly a kavachomer that you'd be able to reduce the payment of the mezonos. However, Mandar Menachi Mezonos, Aval Nechi Chaya Lo. You wouldn't deduct that because the Baal could say, the Amalai, listen, it's a didi pchicha, boy. My wife is smart and doesn't need a midwife. She can give birth herself. Rav Papa, Rav Huna, brother of Yeshua, Oved Ude Kavose. Rav Papa and Rav Huna paskin halacha like Rav Nachman. And someone who took a branch of a palm tree, they used the calculation of shishim. And it was said, Belish Nachrina. Rav Papa of Rav Huna, brother of Yeshua, Shamu, Ledikla, Agav Ktina Da'ara. That he calculated the damage payment for this palm tree regarding a smaller piece of land where the palm tree stood, how much it was worth with the decal, how it was worth without. And the maskana is Ve'ilchas Kavose, Rav Papa, Rav Huna, brother of Yeshua, Bedikla Darma, with an Aramean palm, which isn't a very good palm tree. This valuation of what was damaged is done in comparison to a larger piece of land. But Ve'ilchasa Kavasa de Reish Kalusa, Bedikla Parsa, we pass like Reish Kalusa when it comes to a Persian palm, which is a much more expensive one, and it's more choshev, and we're marich it by itself, not necessarily in relationship to the land. Eliezer Zeira, Eliezer the small, Avisayim Esani Uchmi. He was wearing black shoes. It was not the normal minig to wear black shoes. It was a minig of mourners to wear black shoes. V'koi b'shuka d'nardo. He was hanging out in the market of Nardo. Ashkechut ve'reish kalusa. The people from the house of the Reish Kalusa found him there. Ba'amrle maishno hani masani. Why are you dressed in this weird way with these black shoes? Amrlu de kamavilna Yushalayim. I'm mourning over the loss of Yushalayim. Amrle. Ad chashivas lisabuli Yushalayim. You're such a big. You're an Adam Gadol that publicly you can walk around mourning for Yerushalayim like this? Svor Yuahava. They said he was a show-off. And he's showing too much haughtiness. So, they put him in prison. He told him, I'm an Adam Gadol. I'm a Talmid Chacham. And I'm fit to mourn for Yerushalayim, public. How do we know that you're Talmid Chacham? Amrlo, he said to them, O son boy milsa, you either ask me questions, or I'll ask you questions. Amrlo, they said to him, boy, you ask us the questions. Amrlo, I'm on the Katz Kufra. A person goes into somebody's field and cuts early unripe dates. My mishalim, what does he pay? Mishalim to make kufra. You pay the value of boiser, which is the ripeness of koifer, which is what he cut. So he said, V'ahavu tamri. In the end, they're going to grow to become full dates. So he's going to be mafsid them more. Omrulay, fine. Mishalim to make tamri. Make him pay the value of full-grown dates. But he didn't take full-grown dates from them. Why should we be machayiv in the full amount? So they said to him, so you tell us. Armelahu b'shishim. We look at the land as if it was 60 times more. He gave them the right answer. Who says like you? Shmuel is alive. His Bezdin is around. You can ask them. Shadru Kamei Shmuel. So they sent the question to Shmuel. And what Eliezer Zeir had paskin. Amrlu Shapir Karmelachu B'Shishim. B'Shavku, and they let him out of prison. Rav Shimon Omer. Achla Peros Gmurim. If the animal or a person ate finished fruits, he pays the value of finished fruits. We don't do it agav the karka. My time. Hadam Rachmana ubier b'ste'acher malamed sheshamin al gav asodeh. We do use a piece of karka when hanimi lebimidi shetzorach l'sodeh. We're talking about fruits that still need the field to grow. Honey, finished fruit, even the lotzrichi l'sodeh doesn't need the field anymore. Beinayu by shlumi, we pay the be'en value of the fruit itself. Dan Rav Rav Meir. Rav paskin alach l'maisa like Rav Meir, even though usually we paskin against him. Upsak kilchasa to Rav Shimon. He paskin like Rav Shimon, even though Rav Shimon was a das yachid. Dan Rav Rav Meir did Tanya. There's a field that a husband set aside as collateral to pay the ksuba for his wife. Later on, the husband wanted to sell the field. Kosef l'rishon, v'lo chasmalo. If he sold the field, but the wife didn't sign off on it, then the mechira goes away. If he then sold to a second guy, l'sheni v'chasmalo, he sold the field to a second guy, and this she did sign, of the ksubasa. The wife loses her ksuba. The mechira is a good mechira, and there's nothing to collect from. Div Rav Meir. Rav Yudah Omer, Yechoyle hi shetei Omer, nachas ruach asisi leba. I didn't really agree to it, and therefore I still have a shibud on the land. I just want to make my husband happy. Atem malachem alai. Uposak Rav ilchos like Rav Shimon. Yadisla Rav Shimon Omer. Achla peros gmurin. If an animal or a person went into a field and ate finished fruits, mishalem is peros gmurin. Sasayim. Whatever he ate, he has to pay. Mishnah. Hamagdish b'toch sada chavero shelo b'shus. I go into my neighbor's field and I set up a stalk of wheat without permission of the owner of the field. And my neighbor's animal eats it. Potter? Because I never gave him permission to put it into his field. If the balasoda's animal got damaged by eating what he put up there, Bala Gadish Chai. The person who planted the Gadish is Chai. Im Higdish Birshus. But if the neighbor gave him Rishus to do it, so then the Bala Soda would be Chayiv to any damage that occurs to the grain. Lematnan, the Loka Rebbe. Let's say our Mishnah is not like Rebbe. The Rebbe, Omar, somebody gives permission to that his chaver can put something into his field. So he doesn't accept responsibility for it. Ad shikabel balabais lishmor. He has to be fairish, be makabel the achrayis to watch it. And here in Lechor in our Mishnah, he didn't do it directly. On Rav Papa hacha beneter beidor yaskinon. We're talking about neighbor has a silo, and he allows neighbors to come in to store his grain there. Kivin to Amarle Ayel v'Gadush. Once he says, bring in your grain, it's as if he said, Ayel v'Anter, I will guard it for you as well. Mishnah. I give a fire to a cheresh shoyt of a cotton that are not a bnei das, and they're not responsible. If a damage occurs, potter b'dinei adam, he didn't do anything, but chai b'dinei shamayim. From an ethical standpoint, he's responsible. Sholach biyad pikech. I gave a torch to an intelligent person, and that person caused the sreifa. Ein shliach l'dvar avera. Apikech chayiv. Echad avias or, and echad avias eitzi. One guy brought the flame, the other guy brought the wood. Hamevias eitzim chayiv. The one who brought the wood is chayiv. Echad avias eitzi, echad avias or, hamevias or chayiv. It's the last person in the process that caused the sreifa. He's the one who's going to be chayiv. Ba'acher v'liba. One guy came in and blew and caused the fire to get bigger. Hamalah b'chayiv. He's the final person in the act, and he's going to be chayiv. Lipsa ruach. If the wind itself did it, kulan p'turim. Because none of them could have caused the fire without the wind. Amresh lakish mishmei dechizkiah. Loi shanu. When we say that a person sends a torch with a cheresh shoyt of a kotni's potter, ela shemasu lo kachelas v'liba. He gave the cheresh a coal, and the cheresh blew on it. Then the guy who gave it to the cheresh is going to be potter. Aval masu lo shall have it. But if I gave an open flame to a cheresh chayiv, my taima, ma'asav garmulo. I who gave it to the cheresh caused the fire to happen directly. But Rav Yochanan Amar, afilu matzah lo shalevet potter. Even if I gave a flame to the cheresh, he'd be potter. My timer. Tzaf to the cheresh garmalo. It was the cheresh holding on to it that caused the fire. It's not the flame that does it. And the lo machayev ad shim zor govza. The one who gave it to the cheresh is not going to be chayev unless I actually gave leaves of very thin wood and a candle. The avavada didei, the garmu, because it's obviously, he gave the cheresh everything that was needed to start a fire. And then he'd be chayiv. Okay, we'll stop here. Tomorrow, 7:30.
You got it, shkoyach.
Right, right.
Notice